Now, I'd love your calls on this. Should the UK send money to foreign countries to help them stop illegal immigration? The Prime Minister is hosting a summit on border security in London today. He's already earmarked millions to pay for more investigators in the UK. Now he's set to announce a further £1 million to support foreign prosecutors hunting down people smuggling gangs, particularly those coming from the Kurdistan region of Iraq. So, money sent away to stop this. What do you think, Jonathan?
We have to do it. We have to do it. The way in which we tackle these illegal boat crossings is both working internationally to go after the people smuggling gangs who operate. It's a very sophisticated criminal network, this, by the way. You know what they do, the way in which they get people across the channel. And those who do cross the channel, process them properly and return the people who don't have the right to be here. And actually, the numbers of returns, I think it's 24,000, that's high. That's much higher than it's been.
Well, the numbers of arrivals is higher.
Well, I know, but I mean, we weren't even returning them under the previous Conservatives. They were just being put in limbo in these different hotels.
They're still arriving faster.
They are still arriving, but that's why you've got to also work internationally to deal with the gangs.
Do we send our money to countries abroad for them to deal with it, or do we simply close our border? That's the question.
This is a headline, isn't it? I mean, I can't see that there's anything really to this policy. It's 1 million for the Kurdistan, it's 3 million across all the world to advise local authorities on how to arrest people. We already send £500 million to France for them to help deal with people before they cross the channel, which hasn't made a jot of difference. It needs so much more joined up thinking that we've already got the International Proceeds of Crime Group, the Cross-Agency Group on Extradition, Mutual League Assistance Working Group, ICCB, International Criminality Cooperation Board, all under the Home Office, all working with the CPS, and it's not having any impact. Yet another group is not going to make this go away.
But that you have to work internationally to tackle these gangs, and this is the way in which you do it.
You absolutely do, and we are. But what we need to do is stop it being an attractive destination and have a deterrent. That if people think they can get here and they've got a very high chance of staying, they will make the journey. If they know that they are not going to be able to stay, they will not.
One of the ways in which you could deter people is by tackling the fact that so many disappear into the so-called black economy, being employed in perhaps sometimes in sweatshops in places. You know, we had lots of problems when I was a Leicester MP with the sweatshops.
I remember all about it, yeah.
Or employed in ways in which they shouldn't be employed. So you should put an obligation on employers to check their paperwork properly.
You know perfectly well there is one, unless they're self-employed people. In which case, I mean, companies like Deliveroo operate a voluntary one, but if you're self-employed, you have the right to substitute yourself with a different worker, and therefore these companies are completely stuck, as it happens, can't track who's working. But if they're proper employees, they have a legal obligation. They can have.
Internationally, are we right to send our money away to sort it? No.
These are very small amounts. This is purely for a headline. This is not going to make any difference whatsoever. What we need to do is stop the attraction of coming here.
Well, you know, I said close the border. I don't know how we do it. Turns out being on an island means you've got an open border. That's like the opposite of what I thought it was supposed to mean. Charlotte in County Durham, do you think that we need to send money away like this?
No, I don't. We've given knocking on for £500 million to France because this is where our illegal immigration problem is coming from, not French people, obviously. They've done absolutely nothing. The problem is so severe now. It's getting worse, not better. They've taken our money. They've done whatever with it, we don't know, but they certainly have not stopped illegal immigrants coming here.
I'm only interrupting because they certainly have let a lot of people through, but they might have stopped a lot as well. But do you think they are basically waterboarding us because of Brexit? That's the question. The French are taking their revenge.
I don't think Brexit's got anything to do with it. I think that if we were still in the EU, the same thing would be happening. But we need to take control of the situation. We need to put Royal Navy warships in the English Channel and just repel all of these boatloads
what happens when you repel a boatload of 30 people, their dinghy sinks and 6 children die? What happens then?
It's not going to sink. It's going to go back to France.
No, I'm saying if it sinks and 6 children die, does the head of the Royal Navy have to resign? Because that's probably what would happen.
No, I don't think so. Why is it going to sink? Well, not, it's just going to be pushed back to France.
Well, using a
why
warship
is it going to sink?
If you use a warship to repel a dinghy, I would have thought it probably would sink, wouldn't it?
The very presence of the warship is the deterrent. It doesn't have to do anything. It's just the size of it for a start.
But I mean, the problem is that they won't go back to France because France won't accept them either.
They'll say, sorry, you can't go back.
In that sense. And this is why it's such a conundrum. And that's why what the government is trying to do is trying to go to the source of it by going after the people smuggling networks across Europe and from parts of the Middle East, from Iraq and so on, by putting money into these various different investigatory bodies and criminal agencies.
Oh, but Keir Starmer was elected on a promise of smash the gangs. And what he means is whack-a-mole. Because there is so much money, there is so much attraction in people smuggling that someone else will pop up somewhere else to replace anyone that is smashed. And what we've got to do is just make our country a place that they do not value getting to and therefore stop them by putting them off.
OK, then how about this? Imagine if everyone who came, you couldn't get a job unless you could show on your phone that you had an ID that you were allowed to work and stay in the UK. Like a digital ID. Would you support that?
Because surely they would still come, because the understanding is that if you haven't got a job in this country, you'll be given money as welfare and you'll be able to tick on like that. So
you're in a hostel, you get money or hotel, you get money for food, free dentistry, free healthcare.
If you're staying in one of them, your application should be processed quickly and you should be returned to your country of origin if you don't have the right to stay here.
All right.
They're getting rid of their documents.
Thank you, Charlotte. Rachel's in Dover. Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Dover's always right in the centre of this stuff, isn't it?
It is completely, yes, and we see so much going on.
Do you?
We wanted Brexit. I only know of 2 people from Dover right round to Hythe who actually voted against Brexit. We all wanted Brexit. And the fact is that these people are coming over, they get rid of all their ID, and they are coming in illegally. And we see the French escorting them into our waters.
How can you see that? Well, you mean you see it with a telescope or whatever?
Yes. All the people that live along the Sandgate, all in Hythe, they see it regularly.
But they see the French bringing them out, basically, sort of saying this way.
We see the French boat escorting them. So why haven't we got either a Royal Navy, Border Force, at our borders on the sea, telling them that they are not allowed to come in. They are illegally trying to come into our country. They're in your waters. You take them back.
What about this idea of smashing the gangs, using other countries' police forces to smash the gangs?
No, I don't agree with that. It's not going to happen. There's too many of the gangs.
Give £1 million to Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan or whatever. Kurdistan, OK, of course in Iraq, yeah. Thanks, Rachel. In Dover, Dover's always at the centre. Lynn in Lancashire, hi.
Oh, hello?
Hello, Lynn, how are you doing?
Hi. I was far away then.
Yeah, did we catch you in the middle of something?
Yeah. What I was going to say, the same as what Charlotte said. We're giving all that money to France, and all they're doing is waving them off, saying, don't worry, the British are going to pick you up in an hour. You've got no worry at all. One, we have to withdraw from the European Convention of Human Rights. 2, we need to repeat the 1998 Human Rights Act. No more hotels or pocket money for migrants, and the boat would stop overnight.
You think they would?
The only reason they come...
I don't know if they would.
The only reason they come here is because they know they're going to have an easy life. They're going to be quick hotels, beautiful hotels, where our own people are living in squalor, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And Keir Starmer is an idiot.
Oh, Jonathan.
Well, I don't think he's an idiot. I think he's trying to pull together an international coalition, and he's got a big conference today in London with people from across the world coming to work out how they can cooperate internationally to go after these gangs. And you talk about leaving the European Convention. That's not going to solve it, because in some ways people want to come to this country because of of English language and because they think, they can provide an opportunity for their family, partly because they know they can get work in the black economy, which is why we've got to deal with exploitation in the workplace. And people and bosses should not be paying people who undercut, do not pay the proper minimum wage and so on, and know that they're taking on people who are here illegally.
All right, let's pause there. Thank you, Lynn. Thanks for all your calls. We're going to move on. Later, Alexis is going to bring you the latest on the government's plans to tackle illegal migration, because there have been speeches this morning from Starmer and Yvette Cooper. So Alexis will be asking if you think Keir Starmer has lost control of the borders. That's what the Tories are saying this morning, even though he said he would smash the gangs. Later.